All right, let's get right into it. If you're a serious mobile home park investor, you know the single most valuable asset you have isn't your capital, it's your time. Today, we're breaking down a system that's all about protecting that time. That's so true, we're talking about a disciplined framework for analyzing any MHP deal in just 15 minutes. It's about being fast, being ruthless, and making absolutely sure you're only spending your energy on deals that actually have a real chance of working.
And this quote right here, this is the whole game. This is the entire philosophy boiled down into one sentence. You have to build a filter that's so tough, it protects you from yourself, from wasting days or even weeks on a deal that was dead on arrival. So let's talk about that filter. How do we build it? We have to start by really understanding the problem this whole system is built to solve. And honestly, it's a trap almost every single one of us falls into at the beginning. On the left, well, that probably looks familiar to a lot of you, right? You find a park, you get hooked on the story the broker is telling you, and you dive into this rabbit hole of building these beautiful, complex spreadsheets. You get emotionally invested.
And that emotional attachment is the killer. But way down the road, you finally realize the fundamental numbers were never even close. The solution is to completely flip that script. You use math as your first line of defense, as a weapon, really, to guard your time. Discipline becomes the strategy.
Exactly. And this is a huge mindset shift. Most investors think their job is to find a reason to do the deal. The professional operator knows their job is the exact opposite. Your job is to find the fatal flaw, find the reason to kill the deal, and do it as quickly as humanly possible. If you try your absolute best to kill it and you can't, well, then maybe you've got something worth a closer look. Okay, so how do we actually do this in practice? It's not just a gut feeling. It's a repeatable 5-phase system. You can think of it like a surgeon's toolkit for dissecting any deal that hits your inbox. And here's the roadmap. It's 5 logical steps, and each one is on the clock. We start with the hard facts, calculating the income. That's minutes 0 to 3. Then we apply a heavy dose of reality to the expenses. That gets us to the big one, the NOI and value test. Only if it passes that do we even consider the upside. And we finish with a rapid-fire risk scan. 15 minutes, that's the goal. All right, so we've got the 5 phases. For this explainer, we're going to jump right to the most important part, phase 3, the NOI and value test. Honestly, this is the moment of truth. The first 2 phases are just about gathering the intel we need for this one critical calculation. This is where the deal lives or dies. And it all comes down to this one formula. I know, it looks incredibly simple, but don't let that fool you. Every single component here is a potential landmine. If you get your gross income wrong, your expenses wrong, or, and this is the one that sinks people, the cap rate wrong, your valuation is completely worthless. So let's plug in some real numbers here. Say we're looking at a 36-lot park. They're all paying $425 a month in lot rent. Multiply that out for the year, and you get a gross potential income of $183,600. So far, so good. But here's where the discipline kicks in. We take that gross income and we immediately apply a 40% expense ratio. We're not using the seller's numbers, we're using a realistic placeholder. That gives us a net operating income, an NOI, of about 110 grand. Now we have a number we can trust. From there, we just divide by our market cap rate. We'll use 9% for this example. And boom. The baseline value of this park is just over $1.2 million. I have to jump in here because this is the single biggest lie in the mobile home park business. I guarantee you'll hear from a seller or broker, oh, the expenses are only 20%. It's nonsense. They're not technically lying, but they are conveniently forgetting to include a management fee because they do it themselves. They forget to set aside reserves for when the pipes burst, and they're always using last year's tax bill, which is going to skyrocket the second you buy the place.
He's absolutely right, which is why the rule is simple. You never trust the seller's expense numbers. Ever. We start with a baseline of 35 to 45% and force ourselves to prove why it should be any different. It's all about being a realist, not an optimist.
Now let's talk about that other number, the cap rate. This is where people get into really serious trouble. Just look at the impact here. If you think the market cap rate is 9%, but it's actually 10%, you just overpaid for this park by $122,000. Just like that.
And if it's a bit of a hairier reel that should really be trading at a 10.5 cap, you're now in the hole for more than $174,000. This is, without a doubt, the fastest way to lose 6 figures in this business before you even close.
And that is exactly why this is non-negotiable. Your cap rate isn't a guess, it's not your opinion,
And it is definitely not the broker's opinion. It is a direct reflection of what the real market is paying for an asset with that level of risk and return. You have to know your market cold. That means you are looking at actual, recent sales comps of similar parks in that specific area. That's the only ground truth. A broker's opinion can be a starting point, but the closed sales data is the only thing that matters.
Okay, so let's say the deal passes that initial sniff test. The asking price is somewhere in the ballpark of our calculated value. The very next step, which only takes a couple of minutes, is to check the story, that's the upside, and hunt for any hidden deal killers. Man, this is a lesson that you learn the hard way. A broker will tell you, look at this, the rents are $100 below market. This thing is a gold mine. You know what an experienced operator hears? They hear alarm bells.
Right. The right question isn't how much can I raise the rents? It's why are the rents so low to begin with? A huge gap between current rents and market rents is often a giant red flag. It might mean the tenants can't afford an increase, or the park is in such rough shape you can't justify it. That's not upside, that's a massive operational headache.
So to protect ourselves, we run this super fast risk scan. Just 7 quick questions to get to the heart of the biggest operational and capital risks. We're looking for the expensive stuff. Is it on a private lagoon? Is it on a well? Are there a ton of park-owned homes? What are the roads like? Each one of these can hide a 6-figure problem. And that risk scan leads us to a crucial rule of thumb we call the 2 unknown rule. So look, if you have one big question mark on a deal, let's say you're not sure about the condition of the septic system, you can probably manage that. You can get quotes, set aside a reserve, and price that risk into your offer. But if you have 2 or more of those major unknowns, like the septic is a mystery and the zoning status is unclear, the risks start to compound on each other in ways that are really hard to price. You might be staring down a $250,000 lagoon replacement, and that's just one of your problems. At that point, the smart money just says, no thanks, and moves on. All right, let's bring it home. We're at the 15-minute mark. You've got your numbers. You've scanned the risks. It is time to make a decision. A clear, actionable verdict. No wishy-washy maybes. And we use a simple traffic light system. Green means go, the math works, the risk seems low. Your job is to move fast and try to get it locked up. Yellow means proceed with caution. The deal might work, but only if you can change something, like getting a price reduction. And red means stop, hard stop. The deal is broken, you archive it, and you move on to the next one without a second thought. So what's the goal here? How many deals should fall into each bucket? This number might actually surprise you, but when you're doing this right, most of your deals are going to get a red verdict. And this is the absolute key to the whole system. Marking a deal red is not a failure. It is a massive success. It means your filter is working perfectly. It means you've just protected your most valuable asset, your time, from being wasted on a bad deal. A high pass rate isn't a sign of failure. It's the sign of a disciplined, professional operator. So, after all is said and done, after the 5 phases and all the numbers, it really all comes down to one simple, incredibly powerful question you have to ask yourself on every single deal that comes your way. That's it. Does it pass math?
Notice the question is not, do I like the story? It's not, does it have potential in 5 years? It is a simple, black and white question. Does the math work today, based on real verifiable numbers?
And the answer to that one question tells you exactly what to do. If the answer is yes, you proceed. You've earned the right to spend more time on it. If the answer is no, you move on to the next one. No stories, no hoping it will get better, and absolutely no exceptions. That discipline is what separates the pros from everyone else.